quick, just before we get in the video, I just wanted to say the idea for this deck profile actually came from Bernard from Omnipoke while we was doing our post-rotation format discussion. Take this from a random idea into a full-on deck profile and deck list. Now, I think is in its early infancy stages. I still think there's some stuff that needs to be ironed out, a few more concepts that need to be tried. But I want to put it out there for you big brain boxers over there to, you know, take this idea, perfect the list. I'm super excited about the concept. Let's get to it. Welcome guys to the Slowpoke World, where today I've got a little bit of an experimental spicy Eternatus VMAX deck for you, okay? So, Eternatus VMAX, we all know it's a big bad scary geezer from Darkness Ablaze. I guess the sort of negative to him though is that he doesn't really one-shot. Yeah, you know, he caps out at what, 270 I believe, which is, you know, it's still insane. You know, that's one shot in a Mew tag team. But you know, doesn't one shot in ADP. And definitely isn't one shot in VMAXs. Now I guess you know with Zigzagoon pings there, you know, you can get to the ADP, that's fine, but we're still not quite getting to VMAX. You have to reach a little bit harder. Now what if I was to tell you this list can semi-reliably one shot Centiskorch VMAX, and if you have the turns go your way, you can one shot in the mirror an Eternatus VMAX as well. So let's get into the list. That sounds good, right? I bet you're listening now. So let's start off with the Eternatus VMAX. We'll play 3 of them. You know, effectively a stage 1 VMAX Pokemon, 340 HP, absolute mammoth. That's incredible. With the ability Infinity Zone, as long when this Pokemon is out, you can have up to 8 Dark Pokemon on your bench. Very, very nice. Can't bench anything else though. As soon as you do, you have to discard that down to 5. So that's all well and good. It reminds you of much of Mega Ray, in case you don't know if you wasn't playing then. And then you got the attack Dread End for 2 energy. You do 30. Is it 30 plus? No, 30 times the amount of Dark Pokemon you have in play. Sorry. So at max you can have 9 Dark Pokemon in play because it includes itself. And that's when you're hitting 270. So that's our base, 270. And obviously it scales. You know, if you have 2 in play, you do what, 90. On to the Eternatus V, which is actually a pretty decent V. All things considered. Most of the Vs that evolve aren't really the greatest, but this one's alright. So you got Eternatus V, basic Pokemon, 220 HP, which is you know on the big side. With 2 attacks, Power Excel, 1 for 30, and you can attach a Dark from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. So Oblivion Wing, if anyone was playing them. And then Dynamax Cannon. We don't really be using this one though. 4 energy, 120. If your opponent's Pokemon is VMAX, you do 120 more damage. You do 240 for 4. You know, whichever way you slice it, that is not a good attack. We don't really want to be using that. So, yeah, we'll just leave that there, shall we? Power Excel's good. The fact that it evolved, good. We play 4, so we can fill it up with the bench, good. Second attack, load of rubbish. Right, so let's get onto the spice then. First of all, we play 4 Galarian Zigzagoon. Obviously, Dark type, so 310 damage when you bench it. What's not to love? That's why we play 4. You know, Headbutt Tantrum, when you bench it, you can put 1 damage count on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Great, and that's how you can you can sort of cheat little bits of extra damage with this, and that's how you get into like an ADP tag team range. But you know, I guess with Scoop Up next, you can sort of maybe get into Centiskorch range. Asking a lot though. The way we can reliably get rid of just evaporate Centiskorch though is with the Galarian Obstacoons. Okay, so obviously when we evolve these, you get to put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So in order to get rid of a Centiskorch, all we have to do, bench 2 Zigzagoons and then evolve an Obstagoon. That's not too hard to do, you know. And then provide have an 8 bench as well. You know, if we're going to have an 8 field bench, we're going to get to at least 2 goons down. That's going to happen. And then, you know, we play the full 4 rare candy. You know, we play a lot of, we've got Crobats to help find the candy goon combo. And I tell you what, in testing, it sounds like a lot, but in testing, it's really not that hard to do. I've done it quite a few times. And if you can start taking one-shots with Eternatus, it's absolutely brutal. In order to one-shot a Eternatus VMAX, I think you have to get 2 Obstacoons down. So you have to, like, provided you get 2 Headbutt Tantrums, then you have to evolve 2 Obstagoon. Again, now that is a bit of a reach. I've only done that once so far in the games I've played. But, you know, it is possible. It's in the locker. You know, if you draw well, you can do it. And we've got a lot of dig. So keep that in the back of your mind. You can start taking some cheeky one-shots. We still play 3 Hooper though. This is our nice non-GX pivot. One thing we can do is if, let's say, on Centiskorch or Eternatus VMAX, let's say we've missed the Goons combo that we need to one-shot them. What we can do though is in our next turn, we can hit them for like 270 wherever we do. You can then evolve into your Obstagoon, take the KO before you've attacked, and wherever they promote, you can get a free Assault Gate into, or you can get first hit with your next turn. So that's another thing you can do with the Obstagoon. It's really cool. And Hooper's just there to help us clean up missed KOs. We leave a 1 prize in the active, force the boss's orders around it. It does 90 if it's come from the bench to the active this turn. So yeah, quite nice. We play Hide Dark Energy so we can get the free retreat on a pivot or something like this. And we play 4 Crobat, of course we would, Crobat's insane. When you bench it, you can draw up to 6 cards in your hand. Reminiscent of Shaman EX, obviously. You can only use 1 of these per turn, which is it's a bit worse than Shaman, but that's I mean, it's basically Crobat that's going to let us get these Obstagoons out. It's a bit of a liberty. If we have a Crobat, you probably couldn't get away with this because we can afford to play stuff like Piers to find our Obstagoons, and then use a Crobat to get our draw for the rest of the turn. So Crobat's pretty cool. 4 Marnie. Again, this is so because we have 4 Crobats. We can afford to almost play Marnie every turn, and we know we've got Crobat to fall back on it. Really disruptive on our opponent. If we get a big Dread End turn 2, KO their active, and give them a 4-card hand, we're asking them to respond, quite heavily. And if we give them a 4-card hand, might not be able to do it. So Marnie's pretty cool. We play 3 of the Piers, I should say. This is one way we can sort of easily get to Obstagoon, right? We can just, Piers for the Obstagoon. If we've got Rare Candy in hand, away we go. And it also lets us grab energy as well. That's always fun. But and then so we can grab the Obstagoon, with the Piers. Use a Crobat to draw. Happy days. You can also use this to grab our Crobat if our hand's dead. It lets us grab our Eternatus VMAX. Piers is really strong. I think more conventional lists probably don't need to run an Eternatus VMAX, but in a deck like this where we have to try and find our stage 2, having Piers to fall back on is rather cool. We're going to play 3 Boss's Orders just because we don't want to be hitting to 1 prizes now. We're taking big swings, baby. If we want to try and hit a VMAX on the bench that we've missed or something like this, Boss Orders let us do that. I wouldn't mind a 4th though, but I can't quite fit that in at this moment in time. And we play 1 Erica's Hospitality, just be a little bit more aggressive because I've been loving Erica's in this next format. In the mirror, you'll be flying with this. And a lot of other decks they're playing Crobat, and then the bench will be full, especially since they have to commit so much to KO your Eternus, and Erica's plays right into that. So I'm a big fan. Get onto the ball search. We play 4 Quick Ball, 4 Great Ball. I'll just grab these now as well. And then 3 Pokemon Communication. Pokecoms are always live in this deck, and it was originally 4 Pokecoms and less Great Balls. But I found, while that was more reliable than getting the Obstagoon out, we wasn't really having the Obstagoon with a full bench, right? So I had to flip-flop it a bit in the games, now play the Great Balls, let you have more explosive turns. Now, I'm not actually too against Pokeball in the Turnus deck, not gonna lie, I'm not against that at all. But I think this is a good, better starting point. If you want to just really pop off and be silly, you can go down a Pokeball route as well. But I think for now, this is a very good searching numbers for your deck. I think you can really tear through with this, really fill your bench up and make sure that you Dread End. I mean, you're going to win games because I'm having a turn 2 like 270 Dread End as it is. You won't even need Obstagoon all the game every time. But I think this line lets you. It's a compromise between having that big explosive turn whilst having a consistency with the Obstagoon. Let's not forget we've also got Piers to fall back on as well. 4 Rare Candy. This is just so we can skip the stage 1, go straight into Obstagoon. Now I was trying a list where you played 4 Zigzagoons, 4 Linoons, and then 3 Obstagoon, and you can try and evolve up, and then with scoop up nets you can sort of reuse the Obstagoons throughout the game. That might be an avenue worth pursuing, but I found it was very, very Clunk City. And you definitely wasn't filling up your bench much with that one. So I've opted to a Rare Candy, and that's going to let you be a bit more explosive. It does mean that once the Obstagoon's down is down, you can't scoop up net it, but I think that's fine with me. We then play 1 Air Balloon to act as a little bit of a pivot card. Now you could, if you wanted, play Vitality Band here, and what that would help you do in the Centiskorch matchup, you won't actually have to bench 2 Zigzagoons. You can bench 1 Zigzagoon, Rare Candy that into an Obstagoon with a band, and take the 1 shot that way. So there's that as well. There's that worth thinking about. I was also talking about with what's it called, Giant Bomb. But I think the safest tool to play, since we've only got one slot, is an air balloon. We've got one black market. That's our only stadium. I wouldn't mind a couple more, you know, as it stands now. Chaotic 12 means we haven't got a stadium, but space is tight in this list, you know. I mean, you could go down to like a third Obstagoon and then play a Viridian Forest, but for now I think black market is fine. Black market, if you get value from that, making them knock out potentially 3 Eternatus VMAX, oh, diabolical. Okay, then to round off the list, hang on, let's see if we can just there we go. Round off the list, play 2 with a Hide Darkness Engine. Wouldn't mind a couple more, but I think with Piers being able to pluck them out when you want them, I think 2 is fine. It gives the Dark Pokemon it's attached to free retreat, so that's going to be super good for your Hooper. Let's say you've got a Crobat with a Hide Energy on, you've got a free retreat with that for the rest of the game. You can just easily use Hooper in between KOs, and then it also lets you pivot a wounded Eternus into the next one, which is rather cool. And I think we play 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we play 8 basic dark, go some dice. And I think that's a happy compromise because we've got Piers to help pluck them out. I'm not really missing the Viridian Forest too much in this list, so I think 8 is fine. When we got 2 Hide Energies, you know, and we got Piers as well. But thanks for watching, guys. As always, you're probably one of the more spicier Eternatus lists you might see. I've actually got a couple more lists as well that are in the works. I wanted to get this one out, like I was super excited about this, and would it be the most competitive way to play Eternatus? I'm not sure, but if you can get Eternatus taking one-shots, that completely changes, you know, the sort of the way you can play the deck and, you know, its matchup spreads and all this. So, yeah, it might look clunky, but give it a go. I promise you it works, all right? But thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you all next time.